What's up, Grace Girls? Welcome to the Allow Yourself Grace podcast, where we focus on helping Black women change their lives by discarding negative thoughts, pivoting in the right direction, and shifting their mindset through cultivating a trauma free lifestyle. I'm your host, Courtney Kristen, educator, content creator, life coach, counselor, and mental health enthusiast living in Houston, Texas. I created the Allow Yourself Grace podcast because I wanted to create a space for Black women to share their thoughts, feelings, and stories that make them who they are without fear of judgment. Allow Yourself Grace provides emotional support and encouragement within the Grace Girls community for women in need of non biased opinions from women other than family and friends. Personal development, self care, career, faith are among many of the topics we will discuss on this platform. Allow Yourself Grace podcast is here to encourage Black women to live unapologetically and thrive in being authentically who they are and were designed to be an entire vibe. No topics are off limits. We will cover it all. Now, grab a notebook, pen, sit back, and enjoy the show. What's up? What's up, Grace Girls? Welcome back to another episode. Oh, I'm excited. All right. So, before we get into this episode, make sure that you have liked, shared, and subscribed to this podcast. All right. Also, make sure that you are following us on all podcasting platforms, y'all. Make sure you're following us. Make sure that you're in tuned to what the Allow Yourself Grace podcast has in store. Okay. I also want to see you guys come over to Instagram and follow. I'm loving all my new downloads that I've been getting. Y'all, I've been getting the notifications. Please make sure that if you haven't downloaded the audio for the episode, that you go and do that as well, even if you're watching me on YouTube. I definitely appreciate it. I definitely appreciate you guys tapping in. I love you. I love you. I love you. And I'm forever grateful. And yeah, we're going to get into the episode. So today's quote is short and sweet, straight to the point. Choosing peace may require some goodbyes. Choosing peace may require some goodbyes. All right, let's get into the episode. Let's get into the episode, y'all. So, we're going to be talking about peace, choosing peace, baby, because peace has to be at the top of the priority list for us in 2024. It has to be because, man, if you don't have peace, you don't have nothing. Okay? So, we're going to get into it. Now, some of you ladies have brought over those negative relationships into this new year, whether that be friendships, whether that be intimate relationships. You brought them over to the new year knowing dang on well you should have left them in 2023. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, sis. Come on to the altar. Let's talk about it. So, you came into this year with the same baggage that you knew you should have threw in the dumpster last year. You didn't take the trash out. You just kept it. So let's get into it. If you want peace, you gotta let it go. You gotta put it in a bag and walk it to the dumpster and watch the truck pick it up and take it away. Or you gotta start yourself a fire and burn it. Okay? You gotta burn it. You gotta burn it. You gotta let it go. Peace can mean distancing yourself from people who disrupt your mental equilibrium. So last month was Mental Health Month. Y'all, I released one episode. Okay, so I really dropped the ball on that. But I talk about mental health all year and how you should prioritize your mental health. I talk about that all year. I brought amazing people on that have talked about mental health. They're in the mental health field and they brought their expertise. I do that all year. So it doesn't just take 1 month for me to do that. But last month was Mental Health Month. And so I love that mental health is being recognized, it's being celebrated, like prioritizing your mental health is being recognized and celebrated, and the resources are available for you to do so. Okay. I love that. I love that. But there's some things that you're going to have to do on your own, period. There's some things that no one can do for you but you. And one of those things is letting go of negative relationships. That can be family, it can be friends, it can be intimate. Letting go of negative relationships can create a space for more positive and nurturing connections. A lot of you guys are blocking your blessings, whether that be making new friends or finding a new intimate partner, because you're holding on to the negative baggage because it's comfortable for you. It's what you've always dealt with. And so in last week's episode, we talked about procrastination and holding on to things and lingering and being in the limbo, being in limbo. And so when you're holding on to negative relationships, when you're in a space of limbo, it's kind of like, you need to let it go. But I mean, it feels good. It feels normal. So I know I need to let it go, but I'm kind of like, oh, I mean, I'd rather just deal with what I'm dealing with over here, because I don't know what I might get if I do the thing I know I need to do. Same thing with relationships. You're holding on to a relationship that you know is not for you. You know that it brings negative energy. You know that it makes you uneasy. It does not bring you peace. It brings you chaos. It brings you headaches and drama, and you crying and you going through it. It brings you all those things, but yet you won't let it go. But you're like, oh, I just want to be at peace. No, you don't. No, you don't. Y'all know what I talk about on this platform constantly is taking action. And that action, in order for you to be in a space where you feel good about a relationship, that means that sometimes you're going to have to let something go. Out with the old and in with the new. And you're going to have to get in a space of peace. Y'all, peace feels so good. You would love it here. I promise you. Another thing, another way to tap into peace is forgiving. Forgiving. This can be one of the most difficult things to do, especially when the person that you want to forgive or that you set out to forgive is still doing the thing that hurt you. That can be difficult. It can be so difficult because you're just like, why should I forgive you when you're the same person that I knew you was? Like, you're the same person that did this. I knew this, but I knew you didn't change, like you're the same. It's okay. We got to let it go. We got to forgive, and we have to be at peace with where we stand. Okay? Be at peace with where we stand. Holding on to resentment and pain can hinder your growth and your happiness. Forgiving and letting go can open up a space for healing and personal growth. I talk to people on the regular, and this is one of the things I tell people, like, you have to get to a space where it's like, if I don't let this go, I'm gonna be stuck. Is it worth me holding on to? No, it's not. It's not worth it, because it's like, what I want out of life is so much bigger than not forgiving somebody and holding on to dead weight. I don't have time for that. I can love you. I cannot have a problem with you, but I also have a choice to forgive or stay where I'm at, stay angry, stay hurt, stay upset, stay resenting you, stay. And when I say resentment, that means I regret ever talking to you. I regret ever having interaction or relationship with you. Instead of that, it's like, instead of being in that place, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave you where you are. I'm going to wish you all the best, but I'm going to be at peace, honey. I'm going to sleep well, because it's like, I can't hold on to that, because I have a bigger purpose. I have something that I'm trying to do. And in order to do that, we have to be at peace. In order to work and work without thinking about all the stuff, you got to let that stuff go. Okay? You have to be in a space of peace and serenity. You have to be focused. You need your mind clear. And when your mind is not clear, you're not at peace. You're not at peace. The next thing is finding peace before happiness. Somebody gonna disagree with that. Finding peace before happiness. Choosing peace before happiness can make it easier to find. Choosing peace before happiness will make it easier to find. Wow. Oh, we hear that a lot. I just want to be happy. I just want to be happy. I wish I was happy. You got to find peace. You got to let the drama go. You got to let the chaos go. In order to be happy, you cannot operate positively from a space of negativity, a space of drama, a space of trauma. You cannot. It's not going to happen. You got to let it go. You got to get a therapist. You got to work through it because some things aren't as easy as, oh, I'll let it go. I'm over it. It's like, no, it's going to take some time. It's going to take some work. That may be through journaling. That may be through, creating new routines in your life. There's a lot of things that can be done outside of going to therapy, because I'm going to highly recommend therapy. It will really, really make you take a deeper look at yourself. It forces you to do the inner work, and it forces you to really, really see your life from a different lens. And so I highly recommend it. I highly recommend it. If you've never tried it, just give it a try. Sometimes it can take time to find a therapist that's right for you, but they're out there. Okay. They're out there. And after your first session, I would say just give it time, because it is going to take time, especially if you're a private person and you're not really used to sharing with anybody. It's definitely going to take you a little more time to open up, which means that you may need to attend for longer than normal, right? Because it's going to take you a little time to get there. So I highly recommend that. Happiness can make it easier. I'm sorry, I want to repeat what I said. Peace before happiness can make it easier to find, and it requires less effort, less time, less resources. So sometimes when we try to be happy before we have peace, we spend more money. We're not really healed. We're putting in more effort. We're wasting time. We're wasting people's time. We're doing all these things because we're not at peace. And that's what trauma brings to people. Like, it brings that. It brings the drama. It brings the baggage. It brings all of that, all of those things that have been holding you back because you haven't been at peace. You will never be happy. Your happiness will only be temporary. So finding happiness before peace is key. Finding peace before happiness is key. Peace can also help you let go of disappointment, impatience, and frustration, and not resist change. When you're at peace, it's kind of like you're just like, okay, I'm ready for the next thing. When you're not at peace, it's like you resist it. You're like, no, I'm not doing that. I don't want to. Like, you'll fight it. You'll fight it. You'll fight it. And when you're at peace, it's just a whole nother way of thinking. You feel free. I don't know how to explain it. I went through a period of time where I wasn't at peace. And, it's kind of like when you get into the space of peace, it's like a heavy load that's lifted off of your shoulders. It's like you're walking around with this weight of unforgiveness. You're walking around with this weight of negative relationships. You're walking around with the weight of other people's trauma, other people's drama. Because believe it or not, picking up the phone and listening to somebody else's drama can cause issues in your own life. Like, you have to limit how much you intake and digest from other people, because other people can spread negativity. And it can cause you not to be at peace because you could be worried about them, especially if it's someone that you love. You could be anxious about what they have going on because maybe you're afraid for them. Like there's a lot of factors that come into play when you're dealing with people who are in a negative state and you're trying to get to a place of peace. It can really hinder your growth. Finding freedom means peace can mean a freedom from fear or oppressive thoughts and a sense of contentment. Y'all, this is the best place that you can be in is a place of freedom. Like it took me a while to get here, but it's like now that I'm here, I don't want to be anywhere else because I just know that I don't even like there's issues that arise and I'm like, okay, all right, what's next? I mean, there's just some things that are going to be out of your control. And you have to be okay with that. And you have to know that it's everything's going to work out. It'll work out. It may not seem like it's going to work out right now. It may seem like it's the worst thing, but it will definitely work out. But I think you can only look at things like that when you're in a place of peace and you're like free. You feel free. um we have to work to get there because it helps you be successful in every area of your life. That sense of peace, that sense of freedom, the sense of like I'm not worried, I know that everything's going to take care of itself. Like, and also keeping a mental note that it can be worse. It can be worse than what I'm facing right now. The next thing is being generous in your thinking. When making decisions, you can choose peace as the outcome by considering the best outcome for everyone involved. This is where you have to think things through. This is a skill. This is a skill. I've mastered this skill, and I love that for me. Everybody, unfortunately, is not going to master this skill because making decisions can be difficult. People need guidance. They need a strategy. They need a strategy. They need a plan. They need someone to help them with that. They need direction. Everyone cannot come up with a strategy on their own. And again, therapy is highly recommended. Sometimes it may be even deeper, and people need help making decisions. You know, they do. They do. Um, it's hard to consider the best outcome for everyone else when you don't know what the best outcome is for yourself. So I'm gonna just leave that at that. Like, yeah, you cannot help someone else if you're in a state where you can't think things through properly. You have trouble planning things. You need guidance. You need a coach. You need a therapist. It depends on what it is. Sometimes you may just need a life coach. Sometimes it may be deeper than a life coach. You may need an actual therapist. And there's a difference. And we've talked about this in previous episodes. So you can go back and listen to some of those episodes. But you have to find what works for you. And sometimes these things aren't as easy as said because there's just times where you can't work things out on your own. You need someone else to help you. Okay? You need someone else to help you. Practicing. Being at peace with what is can be an empowering choice, but it takes practice and it takes time to get easier. Yes, I definitely agree. Like this is something that has to be practiced, and having people in your life that encourage you to be at peace, that encourage you to be okay with where you are, okay? To embrace where you are, to step into it, to walk in whatever it is that you know you should be doing, planning properly, making the proper decisions. You need to have people around you that are pushing you and helping you practice the skill because this is a skill. Being at peace is a skill. And there's times where you're going to come out of that comfort zone and be like, look, but there's other times where you're like, it's not even worth it. My peace is more valuable.
My peace is a priority. And I think when you make peace a priority, you make yourself a priority, because peace is something that you need to thrive. It's something that you need to learn and grow. Like you can't be in a negative space when you're trying to grow and you're trying to learn. It's like a distraction, you know? It's like a distraction. And when you're at peace, you don't have any distractions. You're just focused, you're mellow, you're easygoing, like it's just a different mindset. And when you can conquer your negative mindset, you can conquer anything. You can conquer anything. If you can conquer that negative mindset, you can take on anything. Anything is possible. Everything starts with the mindset. We're quick to go negative, but if we think about all the positive things, they really do outweigh the negative. They really do outweigh the negative. And when we learn to take charge of those thoughts and we master those suppressing those negative thoughts, then that's when we can find peace. And it's just such a beautiful thing. It's such a beautiful thing. It's amazing to be at peace. Anxiety, y'all, is a work of the devil. I hate anxiety. It's a work of the devil, because God don't want us to be anxious. He don't want us to be anxious. He says be anxious in nothing. Through everything, prayer and supplication. He gonna come through every time. It always works out. Like, take think about it. Take a moment to really look back over all the things that you've been through in your life, all the experiences, all the encounters that you had, and the things you thought that was the end of the world. And now you look back like, man, I really pushed through. I really got through that. I really, really got through that. And it's like we cannot let this stuff overtake us, because being anxious about something does what? What does that do? Make us all sweaty, make us all nervous, get knots in your stomach, all for a temporary moment, and then it's over. Is it really worth it? Is it really worth all that? Don't worry about what people have to say. Don't worry about who's watching you. Just do what you know it is that you need to do to stay at peace and to have that freedom. Ooh, that freedom is everything. Everything. A clear mind, a clear heart. I always say a clear mind and an open heart is a beautiful thing, because you're able to receive that way. When everything is open and available, you can receive. You can receive what he has for you. But if it's like, oh, it's closed, it's tight, it's anxious, oh my God, oh my God, I don't know how this is gonna work. Oh my God, I'm so nervous. Oh my God. It's like, man, relax, relax. We gotta get to the space of resting in his arms and in his presence. And there we will find peace and we will find freedom. And I'm just asking you today, my question to you today is, when are you going to choose peace? When are you going to choose peace? When are you going to choose the thing that's keeping you from being everything that you want to be, and from walking in your purpose and fulfilling your dreams, your heart's desires? When are you going to tap into that peace? When are you going to be ready to experience a life of freedom? He's waiting. We're waiting. You've been waiting to experience it. Get rid of the wait. Let's let go of the negative relationships, the negative thoughts. Let's forgive. Okay? Forgive. That anger, that hurt, that sadness, we got to let it go. We got to let it go. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Go to that person that you're mad at. Go to that person that you're angry at. Tell them how you feel. They may care, they may not. But it's your duty to yourself. You owe that to yourself. It's your duty to yourself to allow yourself to give that person forgiveness, because it's going to get that weight off your shoulder. Okay? It's going to allow you to tap into everything that God has for you. Okay? I want that for you. I want that for you, because being in this space is the best place you can be in. It's the best place you can be in. Okay? When are you going to find peace? All right. I'm going to end the episode there. This was a short one. I want to thank you guys so much for watching or listening if you're listening. Also, again, make sure you leave me a review. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe. Also, to make sure that you comment, let me know what you think about the episode. Leave me a 5-star review. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, share this podcast platform with a family or a friend, a family member or a friend. I would definitely appreciate it. And I love you guys so much. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Well, guys, that concludes our episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Allow Yourself Grace podcast. For additional information about today's episode, please click the link in the show notes below. To learn more about our Grace Girls community and other resources we have to offer, head over to www.allowyourselfgrace.com. Until next time, Grace Girls, I love you all. Be blessed and continue to strive for success.